வெல்கம் பேக் டு டாப் ஃபியூச்சர்ஸ். இன்னைக்கு நாம ஸ்டோரி பார்க்கலாம். நான் ரீட் பண்றேன், நீங்க கேளுங்க. கேட்டு என்ஜாய் பண்ணுங்க. உங்களுக்கு ரீட் பண்ணணும்னா மியூட் பண்ணிட்டு ரீட் பண்ணுங்க. வாங்க இன்னைக்கு ஸ்டோரி. பவர் ஆஃப் பாசிட்டிவ் திங்கிங். இந்த கதை இதை பத்தினதான். பவர் ஆஃப் பாசிட்டிவ் திங்கிங். ஓகே, லெட்ஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் ரீட். Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived an old lady. She was very old, with silver hair and a face full of wrinkles. But her eyes were bright and full of kindness. Everyone in a village loved her because she always happy. Even then, life was very hard. She lived alone in a little house near the big banyan tree. She had no children, and her husband had passed away many years ago. But she never complained. She would sit under the tree, talk to people, and always smiles. In the village, people worked hard. Some were farmers, some were carpenters, and others worked in a small market. Sometimes the rain did not come and the crops dried up. Sometimes people got sick and couldn't work. Life was not easy and many villages were open sad or worried. One day a young woman named Shasti came to her. Shasti was crying and her face full of worried. She said, I don't know what to do. My husband has gone to the city to find work, but he has not sent any money. My children are hungry and I am scared. The old lady looked at the Sasti and smiled softly. Sit down, my child, she said. Tell me, what do you think will happen? Shasti wiped her tears and said, I don't know. I feel like bad things will happen. What if my husband cannot find work? What if he forgot about us? The old lady shook her head gently. Shasti, we think bad thoughts, we feel worse. But if we think good thoughts, we feel better. And sometimes good happen. Shasti asked, but how can I think good thought when everything is so bad? She smiled again and she said, let me tell you a story. Shasti looked at her curious. The old lady began. Once there was a poor man who had nothing. He had no food, no money, and no family. He said, an old woman came to him and asked, why are you crying? The man said, I have nothing. How can I be happy? The old woman smiled and said, you have a river, you have the peace, you have the sun. Look around you. There is beauty and life everywhere. If you think about what you don't have, you will always be sad. But if you think about what you do have, you will find peace. The man listened and slowly he stopped crying. He started to see the good things around him. And from that day, his life began to change. The old lady looked at Sasti and said, "You see, my dear, the man's life did not change because of magic. It changed because he changed his thinking. So, when we think positive, our heart feels lighter and we can face problems better." Sasti thought about the story and said, "Will my thinking really change my life?" She smiled gently and said, "Yes. If you wake up every morning and tell yourself today will be a good day, you will find the strength to work to care for your children and to wait for your husband with hope. If you only think about what might go wrong, you will feel sad and weak." Sasti nodded slowly. "I understand. I will try to think good things now." "That's the first step, my child," she said. Sasti left old lady house with a lighter heart. Every day she remembered her words. She woke up and said to herself, "Today will be a good day." She worked harder, took care of her children, and prayed for her husband's return. After a few weeks, Sasti received a letter from her husband. He had found a job in the city and was spending money back home. Sasti was overjoyed. She ran to old lady's house to share the news. The old lady smiled and nodded. "You see, my dear, when you think positive, the invite good thing into our life. Problem will always come, but face them with a hopeful heart. We can overcome them soon." Other villagers begin to hear about the old lady's wise words. Many people came to her and shared the problem. The old lady gave the same advice, things, good thoughts, and good. Welcome, the villagers love her. Even more because of her words that changed the life. She had taught them the power of positive thinking. Thank you all.